the motherfucking intro. I'm just trying to get that money like 1-0-0-0-0-0-0-0-0-0. I'm here with Gino.
Hey, Danger, coming with them bangers. Tell me where my paper. Still on the same mission, trying to live major. Don't hate me, hate the game. I'm a player. Feeling like Pac. Represent on my block. Try to knock me down, but I come up on top. Yeah, they wanna see me flop. Got a plot, want a lot. I won't stop on my pops. Got so many flows, it's insane. They don't really understand the game. Got a plan and it's plain, I ain't playing. I'm just trying to game. I wanna get that big bag, need that big Rex. Blow up Tic Tac with a blue cheese at. I don't give a fuck about your feedback. Eat that, get back, sit back, watch me spit that kickback. Got so many flows, yeah, they think that I'm insane. Ghetto kids in a lot of pain, all about the bills, ain't shit changed. Danger, coming with them bangers. Tell me where my paper. Still on the same mission, trying to live major. Don't hate me, hate the game, I'm a player. If you a hater, I don't hate you. I'm just really happy that I ain't you. I just wanna thank you. You kept me motivated, so now I motivate you. There's a lot of cake, money on my mind like a banker. Coming through with them bangers, ain't no room for mistakes. Lot of stake, hustle till we get a lot of rooms, lot of stakes. Good kid, but I keep it gangsta. All gas, no brakes. Got cash for the case. More cash in the case. More cash in the safe. More cash on the way. Hustling all day. Ay. Danger, coming with them bangers. Tell me where my paper. Still on the same mission, trying to live major. Don't hate me, hate the game. I'm a player.
Danger, coming with them bangers. Where my fucking paper.
Said I'm taking big shots, just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. They been trying to get me cheap like a thrift shop, but I told them it's my time, check the wristwatch. They been talking way before they even doing something. Whoa. If they wanna play, let's get a tip off. Ain't no silver lining, dawg, this some rose gold. Getting new money, I'm a old soul. Yeah, I get it bouncing like a pogo. Whoa. And I'm too cold like Frozone. And my chick elastic, girl. Told him we ain't in the faking, this ain't plastic, girl. Bought a new whip and cash, now my taxi thorough. Way I'm shooting like step, but my pass is bro. The way I'm playing the field, I'm in a league of my own. And now they all in they fields, I got them all on my phone. But dog, I'm hitting the climb, I got no time on the low. Way I'm shooting is messy, the way I'm hitting the goals. I'm taking big shots, just stop. Way I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. I just left, but you know I'm coming back though. Whoa. And you know I don't play by my rags though. Now go and turn it up to the max, whoa. Send a paper to me now like a fax, whoa. Yeah. Got 2 phones ringing off the hook now. When I'm in the city, I get looks now. I was going bad, but I'm good now. Said I had to go and put my foot down. Told them I'ma get it and go. Nah. Even in the summer, man, they knowing I'm cold. I got a couple checks coming that I made out the flows. Might get a couple more popping if I do it some more. I gotta do it for real. Said I'm back in my bag. All my digits are climbing just like they all on the dash. And they tell me slow down, cause dog, I'm moving too fast. Might go and cop me a Tesla, cause dog, I still got a gas. Said I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Impossible live stream. As you guys know, I've been having internet provider issues. They're doing work on the lines, and they said it would be back yesterday. They said it was going to be back today. I got a message that said it's not good, but I had good internet, so I figured I'd go live. Now it's supposed to be ready tomorrow, guys, but we've been dropping the market updates low-key yesterday, looking for 96K. We pushed into our next big level of resistance, which we are sitting at right now. So are we going to get the big rejection, or are we going to be able to push up to our next bigger target, which, to be honest, guys, if we don't get the rejection from around this level at 98K, we could be looking up towards 100K and beyond, where we have that next major level of resistance. I think a lot of you guys know what that level is. But we're going to cover it. We got some stuff to talk about here because, God, guys, I go crazy when I can't go live. We drop the market updates, but it's just not the same. I don't get to hang out with my people. It's just not as fun. So I'm happy to be here, guys. If we get rugged, I just rugged your provider, Frankie. Can't have our streams delayed. Yeah, shout out to Coin Hoover. Guys, if we get popped off the live stream real quick, my internet says it's good. We were dropping frames before, but it seems like everything is a go here. But if we do drop off, guys, if I have to end it abruptly, I just wanted to at least make an attempt to get up here. It's absolutely brutal. Shout out to Pooja from customer support. I was talking to her for like 2 hours today. I'm exhausted. So stressful, so annoying, so obnoxious. But we got some nice price action finally here. So let's go ahead and jump on into the charts, guys. We got Loki in the chat says he lives. We are alive, guys. We are here. Shout out to Jay Smith. Welcome in. We got Crypto Billy in the chat. What is going on? We got Panda the Prophet. What is up, bro? We got Wayne in the chat. Poyita. I never know how to say that name, bro. Welcome in. Oh, man, feels good to finally be live. The market makers are trying to keep Frankie from giving us the sauce, but they can't do it, guys. Even the market updates. Yesterday, looking at 96K, we pushed right into that exact key level. But uploading that video, guys, I was literally uploading off a mobile hotspot. It took forever, but we were able to get that information out just in time before we got to push to the upside. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts and see what we got going on here. See if we can predict that next move. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so here we are. Oh, God, it feels so good. It feels so good to be here. But as you guys know, getting a push to the upside, right? So yesterday in the market update, as we were wiggling our way up here towards about $96,000, I'm going to start here on the higher time frames. Obviously, guys, this kind of all started as we were consolidating down here. We obviously had our major volume profile sitting here. We had two major volume profiles we were looking at. The first one had our value area low at about $89,000, where we also had a Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786 retracement, where we were saying, actually, this is not the exact... right here, $89,000 with our Golden Pocket 786. And of course, once we pop into this zone, guys, we are anticipating a potential continuation up for two reasons, right? Once you hold above that value area low, it does open up that next target, that next high probability target, which obviously was sitting here at about $96,300 at the POC. Flip the value area low, that doorway opens, and that POC is the strongest magnet within the profile. So obviously, that was the next target, but we aren't always looking for the higher low and the higher high. Obviously, a big part of why we were looking for this was the fact that we had finally had the money flow crossing into the green on the daily, indicating that the trend would likely continue to the upside. We actually had a little bit of a lower level down here at about 87K. But as, obviously we had this money flow coming up, right? We have the higher low. We stay inside the value area low. We have to be open to that push to the upside into the point of control for the continuation. Low, high, higher low, higher high. Money flow coming up. Absolutely beautiful. So just to give you an idea on kind of why we were expecting this level, not only yesterday, but ever since we started getting the pullback here on our first approach of about 94,000, right? And the Fibonacci retracement is the area where you're going to be looking for those higher lows before the higher high. So just kind of give you some insight on how we actually snipe this stuff, guys. These live streams are supposed to be educational because you can do this too, I promise. And of course, still holding my long position from down here at $85,000. I showed this on the market update earlier today. Obviously, still holding this pretty much in the same spot that I left it on the market update, at least today's market update. So still holding a portion of this, just waiting for our $98,000 level to potentially get tapped here. But the big question becomes, guys, are we going to get a bigger push to the upside? We all know we have this 50-week moving average waiting up here, and I'm going to show some confluence on this level that could indicate, right? And I'm going to show you what I want to see in order to potentially get this bigger level to get pushed into, right? Because, of course, right, daily money flow staying in the green, this is fresh, right? We could potentially see this be the start of an overall uptrend, even if we do get a rejection here. And, of course, we'll jump down to the lower time frames and talk about the probabilities of maybe getting a little bit of a pullback here. Are we getting the bearish confirmations? I'll cover all that as well. But obviously, after this big drop to the downside, we've been talking about potentially getting a bigger retracement to come in, consistently comparing it to 2021, almost this exact kind of same scenario. You get the big capitulation, or your first kind of major drop to the downside. You get that wiggle to the upside. Of course, high time frame money flow was coming out like the weekly, which is the case currently right now. My longer term sentiment remains the same. I'm going to try not to harp on that. We're going to enjoy these green candles, but looking for some kind of a bigger retracement to come in, right? Because even after these first drops with that weekly money flow coming out, obviously did indicate that there was further downside to come. But, these retracements can come in. You come in down to a key level of support. We talked about this yesterday as well. We had NPOCs, 786s down here, but you also, just from a very, very simple standpoint, you had the 100-week moving average sitting down there as well. And, just looking for maybe a little bit of a retracement to come in here. And this is what we are seeing right now. We've been talking about this upper level between about, let me just actually pull it up here so we don't pull up the weeklies, right? So we had come on down to a lower time frame. Of course, we had the daily naked point of control. The POC of the range was kind of that major level at 96.3. That's what we looked at yesterday. And we were hanging down here, right? We saw the signs on the chart. We say, hey, guys, very high probability of coming into this level. And then shortly after that, around like 5 p.m., we actually did come in there and talk about being frustrated that I couldn't stream hitting that target. It's like, oh my God, I just want to go live. But we did wind up getting that to come in. Of course, high probability target. But this is a zone, right? We have it between about 96.3 all the way up to about $98,000. And I'll talk to you guys why I'm looking at 98K. Obviously, daily MPOC here at about 97.5. But when we look at our overall bigger golden pocket retracement, you guys can see this actually does extend up to about $98,000, right? So we did just barely front run this level. So we'll see if we want to come up and actually physically tap this. But this is the next major level. We've talked about this ever since all the way back here. We got the big drop down. We pull that golden pocket. We look at the POC. We say, well, hey, maybe we can get in here and go here. Nope. 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 Still a key level, even earlier this week, telling the Mafia this is still a major key level that we'll be looking at. It is not invalidated. It is still important, and it is still a strong magnet. And finally, after, whatever it was here, I'll measure from the bottom, like right here, right, before actually getting the significant move, right? 48 days, like almost 2 months of just complete sideways chop, just waiting for this level to get hit. And now here we are. And the question is, guys, are we going to get the rejection, or are we going to be able to flip this and come up to our next major target, which, of course, does sit up here above $100,000? Now, I will put an arbitrary level here. $100,000 psychological is going to be an important level, right? So 100K, I'll just label this, right? So you do have a psychological level of 100K. That is something to watch. But at the end of the day, right, if I just take this off the chart, right, so just remember that's there. I'm going to take it off because I think it's pretty easy to remember that, right? $100,000, nice and even. Big, especially for Bitcoin. 100K, huge psychological level just in general. It's the level that everybody's always wanted to hit. So I do believe that is a strong psychological level. But at the end of the day here, guys, golden pocket, right? When we look at this from a volume profile perspective, well, hey, if we could stay on top of this POC, even if we have to correct a little bit, daily money flow is still continuing into the green, right? So if we can keep this money flow cooking to the upside, we could also potentially look for continued higher lows and higher highs. So, definitely major resistance. I am in a scalp short right now. I may even look to compound that if we do go sweep $98,000. And that's in case we do get the pullback. Right? And then who knows, right? This is a golden pocket retracement. It is technically the first level to look for a potential macro lower high. But now that we see this daily money flow coming up, in my opinion, I think we may be able to get a bigger move up. And I'll show you guys exactly what I'm looking for that to come in. But let's just say, whether we get the pullback first or not, getting above this, right, flipping that golden pocket. Once you break the golden pocket, what is the next level you're going to be looking at? Well, you're going to be looking up towards that 786. And obviously, within this macro volume profile, flip the low, POC is next. Well, once we flip the POC, value area high, 115K. It is valid, right? That is valid. However, like I talked about earlier today, we do have some other volume profiles that I'm going to be paying attention to until we don't have to, right? Because, of course, right, like I'm not looking directly up to 115K, at least as of right now. I think once we get above this 786, I think there's a decent chance you can get the real big rip to the upside. We'll be above the 50-week moving average. That's something we have not one time, ever seen in the past in a context like this, which obviously you guys know the higher time frame context, weekly money flow still trending to the downside. Even if this kind of pops back up, we are still at risk of putting in lower highs and lower lows. This is the first area to look for that. Obviously, the daily money flow coming up could indicate a continuation. But, until we get above this, right? And again, the 50-week moving average has proven to never be able to get cracked, right? This thing is like, it's got a chastity belt on for the most part. So you get up, big rejection, right? And we go through this on every other cycle, right? We've never been able, in this context with high time frame money flow coming out, we've never been able to get above here. Once we're able, right, if we are able to get above that 50-week moving average, right, of course, major resistance, we get up here, flip the golden pocket, 786 is next, 50-week moving average, it gets tested. Again, still major resistance. It's not going to be, right, maybe you get a little cool off. It's not going to be until we flip this 786/50-week moving average that I would be looking for a much bigger move to the upside, potentially targeting that 115K value area high. Which is also confluent with our bigger Fibonacci retracements. So at this point, I would start feeling a lot better about things, right? But this is still going to be that major level that, I can't really be looking for all-time highs until we can decisively get above this level with the charts agreeing, right? Market Cypher be agreeing with that. So again, I do kind of want to just, my overall sentiment long-term is still I'm being very cautiously optimistic here. Nice to see some green come into the market. Honestly, nice to see the market move, for God's sakes. This thing's been going sideways forever. Very nice to see some volatility. Very nice for that to be, volatility to the upside. But, overall, we do still have to be very careful if that weekly money flow crosses into the red. We are in, major resistance and we still have it above. So if I'm not looking directly up there, what other confluence do we have on the 786 50-week moving average? Well, if we pull up our previous macro volume profile here, you could see anchored VWAP from the high, 50-week moving average, 786, and the local value area high. This is going to be the range that I'm looking at until proven otherwise, right? Because, again, there's no reason in my opinion, right, for me to be looking up, I could point out 115K. I can say, well, hey, if we break the 50-week, we can get up there. But at the end of the day, we do still have to identify this as major resistance, right? Very important resistance. So I'm going to be viewing this through the lens of this range, right? And the PLC is essentially in the same exact spot. So let me actually just take this off a little bit, just clean up the profile so it's not super confusing. Bada boom, right? We'll take off that tapped weekly. So there you go. Value area low sitting at 92.3, right? And of course, as we expect, right? Nice little perfect resistance. Get back in, flip it. POC is next. And now we're attempting to flip this point of control. But if we hold on top of this point of control, although it is the same point of control as the bigger range with the 115K value area high, we could say to ourselves, let's take it step by step, right? And of course, we can see turbulence here, as I just discussed. We'll go down to the lower time frames, talk about some of the signals we're seeing down here. But if we can flip this and get the continuation, right, I'm going to be viewing it as a rotation of this local profile, and I will be trading this as a volume profile. And then, again, this is massive resistance, right? We get above the high, we can look for the shorts back down. And again, right, this is confluent with that 786 Fibonacci retracement, right? And that is an area where we could potentially see big rejections. So it wouldn't be until we start cracking this, right? Once we start getting above that value area high, that's where I open my eyes to between about 108 to 115K on that bigger profile. Until then, I'm going to look at it through this lens. So again, value area low 92.3, POC 96,734, value area high sitting here at about 103, call it 103,450. Again, very confluent with all this resistance, right? And of course, right, when you have massive resistance, if we get up here and we flip that massive resistance into massive support, well, that's where you could potentially look for the bigger move up. We'll cross that bridge if and when we get there. So this is kind of just, I would say realistic targets if we're going to continue up. Now, of course, this is a huge level of resistance that we're sitting in right now. And are we seeing any bearish confirmations, right? Are we seeing any reason to see a rejection here? Well, when we look here, we do have an 80-minute and a 90-minute bearish divergence, higher highs on our price action, lower highs on our momentum wave. So again, not impossible to see some resistance here on this zone, right? The zone is not just the POC, right? We have the golden pocket sitting above there. I'll pull it back up. I actually think I just deleted it. There it is. So, again, golden pocket retracement, even if we're just going to get a cool off or a continuation up, right? This is still major resistance, which is why I am holding that scalp short currently. If it stops out and we decide to fly into, maybe above 100K into the value area high with all this confluence, well, great. We're holding that long position, which will continue to pay us out. But I do just want to point this out, right? Here's the resistance. Bearish divergences are looking to form, and even more like locally, right? Like 1 hour bearish divergence confirmed, like even slightly local here. Slight little 1 hour bear divs, and then come on down to the lower time frames, little 30-minute bear div confirmed. Money flow attempting to come out as well. So worth a shot for me personally. I've been waiting for this level for so long, guys. So, if it winds up stopping me out, right, small loss, long continues to pay out. I'm hedged very nicely with that long from $85,000. So, if there's any levels to get on your chart here, I would mark off between 98 and call it 96.3. That's the level that we're at right now. And then if we get the push into the much higher prices, I would say between about 101,350 all the way up to 103,433 or 450, call it. And of course, this 50-week moving average will move. And from just very simple standpoint, guys, take all the complications off the chart, take all the purple boxes off, right? Can we get the 50-week retracement? Again, understand this has never been able to get broken. Doesn't mean it can't happen right now, right? Maybe this is the first time we see it happen. I need to see that, though. I could say the daily money flow looks pretty good, right? Look at that money flow, baby. That's the 12-hour. 12-hour looking good, too, right? Daily, we have a nice red wave for the continuation of the downtrend. This kept us out of a lot of really bad longs. Also kept us in some really nice shorts. But now we're finally seeing that crossover into the green. When we see that money flow crossover into the green, remember, money flow indicates the overall trend, not the ebbs and flows, right? Not the ebbs, flows, ebbs, flows, ebbs, flows, ebbs, flows. It indicates the trend, right? So even if we ebb down here and that money flow continues up, we could potentially still look for that continuation into that 50-week moving average. But again, not going to stop me from taking short opportunities here in our key level of resistance that we're at right now. All right, let's see. Yo, shout out to BTC Bill, bro. You are out of control. Shout out to BTC Bill. Gifted those 20 Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go. BTC Bill, one of the most generous Candle Mafia members out there, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I know the Mafia does as well. Spam that golden emoji if you got a membership. You'll have special emojis that only some people get access to. And most of them are supplied by BTC Bill, and a lot of them from Golden. Let's see. Yo, shout out. Shout out to Martin says, you're back. You finally paid the internet bill after the pump. Yeah, I needed to wait until that long. I could take more profits on the long to pay the internet bill. But yeah, again, guys, I will say, let me read the message here. It was supposed to be done today. Pooja told me that it was going to be done today, and we were bonding. She was telling me, well, where are you from? What's your nationality? I told her I was Italian. She told me I need to try Indian food on pizza. She told me to try buttered chicken pizza. I've never heard of that. I've never seen it, but it sounds really good. Shout out to Pooja if you're out there listening somehow. But the as a reminder, we'll be doing work to enhance your network in your area starting tomorrow, 1:15. This was supposed to stop yesterday. It didn't. It kept going yesterday. It was supposed to stop today. It didn't stop today, and now they're going into tomorrow. So I don't know what my service is going to be like tomorrow. I'm going to try my best to go live. But if anything, I'll just drop the market updates. And low-key, the updates have been slapping, guys. Again, looking at that 96K level, literally next, or not even the next day, next couple of hours, push right into that exact point of control. So we'll drop it in there. We'll drop those updates if we can't go live, but I'm going to try my best. Let's see. And of course, guys, that's all a cover up for me not paying my internet bill, just so you know. Let's see. There's a curry pizza joint right by where I work. Is that a thing? Curry pizza? She was acting like it was a thing. I've never seen it. Butter chicken's really good. So if they put that on pizza, it's probably awesome. Maybe we'll have Tony D whip up some butter chicken pizza. They tried to sabotage the sauce at the crucial moment in months. Yeah, like literally this could have happened at any point in the last 2 months. You can't make it up, guys. I'm getting tested. I'm literally exhausted. Poor Pooja. I started off very hostile, and she was like, calm down, man. It's all right. It's all right. Have you ever tried butter chicken pizza? And I was like, hey, Pooja, you're the homie. You're the homie. But anyway, the best candles are Frankie candles. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Let's go. Show Crypto Billy some love in the chat. Hope you're doing well, bro. We got Jesse holding it down in the chat as well. It's pretty good, not going to lie. Yeah, I mean, it sounds awesome. It sounds awesome. But yeah. We'll see, guys. We'll see. Those are the key levels that I'm looking at. We'll see if these 90-minute and 80-minute bear divs want to bring us down just a little bit. If we do get that cool off, right, I'll give you guys an update tomorrow, hopefully live. If not, I'll drop the updates if I can. Again, literally uploading those on my mobile hotspot, which is obviously not ideal. But very nice. Money flow even on the 3-hour cracking back into the green. But, of course, right, like local bearish confirmations, not impossible to pull back, especially inside this key level of resistance. If it doesn't play out, it doesn't play out. We'll take the small loss, and we'll look for that long to continue to play out. Next major target, right, like just in general, obviously it's a zone, but, 101.3, 101.4 at the 50-week moving average is going to be huge. And then, I don't want, right, like what I don't want at the 50-week, just to kind of like get you guys prepared, if we do push in there, it is possible, right, to get up there. It's very confusing, right? It's like, oh, my God, we're above it. We're holding it, and then you'll lose it, right? So, we need, I would like to see, multiple weekly candle, and even up here, right? You close the candle, then you lose it. We need to see a decisive flip of support. If it's something like this where we get a push up, money flows continuing out, I'll even show you the exact signal I would look for. It'd be the same thing right here. You get above, you start closing the weekly candles, that VWAP starts rolling over. If we do see that where we get weekly candle closures above here and that VWAP decides to roll over and give us the red dot, that red dot on the weekly is probably the thing that will start that bigger drop to the downside. And that has to be my longer term kind of thought process until proven otherwise, guys. I would just rather be cautiously optimistic. And if it decides to send it, great, right? I'm still partially exposed to the market. I'm still holding the long position, but I just cannot be looking for all-time highs really until we break 115 to 116K. This is the last place to look for a lower high on the higher time frames for a bigger capitulation down. Everyone will start looking at that head and shoulders, which kind of makes me think that's a really crowded trade. Maybe it doesn't play out and we just send it. But again, we don't know what the chart's going to look like up here if we push. But, obviously I'll keep you guys updated here. Market update or live stream. At this point, it's probably faster for me to just switch internet providers and get another company. But Jay Violet said, "Now I'll eat my curry on my on its own." Thanks. Shout out to Jay Violet. Also, curry great by itself. What are my targets for the downside with the expectation of higher lows, right? Okay, so actually I was going to bring that up. So if we do get a cool-off, right, and again, if we do end up, right, and I'll just bring up the, where's our macro profile, right? Here's the nice thing, right? Big level underneath us is going to be this point of control, right? Like 96.3, right? 96, call it 96.450. If we wind up coming down, right, this is going to be a place that you may be able to hold as support. It's just if we wind up losing this, you might be able to get the bigger breakdown. So what I would do, there's obviously tons of areas we could put in a higher low, right? Like technically, we could put in super local higher lows. But I'll give you like the major levels, right? So let me go ahead and pull an anchored VWAP here. I'll pull it from the start of where we got impulsive, and then I'll go ahead. Let's see where this golden pocket ends up. No real confluence there. So the full, the big golden pocket retracement, or the biggest one I would be looking at as of right now, be around 93K. But, there's no guarantee we get all the way down there. But locally, let me see. So, yeah, I mean, POC, 96.4, right? You have the point of control in your range on your charts, right? Like, we hold on top of here, right? Well, hey, the doorway to the next level is open. Once we start losing that, right, the fib of just this local move to the upside, right? Let me just pull up a little short position here, right? This would give you a nice little 2% scalp, right? And I will treat this as a scalp until proven otherwise. But if we do get that drop down, right, key levels to the downside, PLC 96.450, golden pocket 786 of the local move brings you down to about 95.233. And then if you want to go ahead and pull the bigger fib, again, this fib, technically valid. This fib, technically valid. This fib, technically valid. I don't want to pull up 40 different levels. When you're looking at, and it also depends on where your entries are, right? If you're in from the high, if you wait for a breakdown, it depends on where you're in from. But I'm not going to pull up all these levels and be like, watch every single one of these levels. POC would be like the biggest level to lose. If we can lose that POC, then I would expect a bigger drop to the downside. And then like the bigger level that I would like to see is probably going to be sitting right about here. Let's see. This daily is tapped. We have no daily down there. Let me check the MPOCs real quick. I did just step into the studio here, so I am a little bit... Yeah, so you have a daily MPOC sitting here. Let me just pop this up. You get a little bit of live chart markup here. So you got your 786 daily MPOC confluence, right? We want to find those high confluent areas. So this sits right here. I'll just mark this off. Bada boom, right? And this could obviously be looked at as a bigger zone, golden pocket 786, but I do like that confluence on the daily MPOC. So, this is a significant Fibonacci retracement, right? Because this is really pulled from the impulse. So I would say, if we can make it down to like 92, call it like almost, 93K, that would be nice. This would still enable us. I could take this off the chart now because we've already put in that higher low. And just to kind of point this out, guys, it's the same thing here, right? We pulled this fib pretty much where it got impulsive to the high. At the end of the day, right, if we did not hold this fib, a lot of people would say, if you could pull so many fibs, how do you know which one to actually act on? Well, at the end of the day, right, we came down here. We got respect on this level. If we just melted through this level or we wound up losing this, well, that's where I would pull the bigger Fibonacci retracement, which would come down here to the low, which was confluent with other levels here on the daily naked point of control, around $88,000, all the way down to about 86.5. If you watched the streams last week, you will know, like, hey, if we lose this level, that's the last place to look for a higher low. At the end of the day, though, we knew that money flow was coming up. This was a valid place to put in the higher low, and look at us now, right? Higher high comes in. So if you don't get the confirmations, if you don't get the respect, if you don't get the reaction, at that point, it's like, I hit my key level, cool. Did I get confirmation? Do I have a reaction? If not, right, there's no real trade to take. If there's no entry trigger, there's no reason to take the trade, and you would be expecting the next level. So just to kind of show you how to handle those. Because at the end of the day, guys, like, for all I know, right, nobody knows exactly where you're going to bounce. If we get a significant cool-off, right, again, like this would be a valid Fibonacci retracement. I mean, hey, on a low time frame, this is a valid Fibonacci retracement. So I'm just trying to pull up like the significant ones. So again, PLC would be, this is also confluent with your hyperlocal fib, right? Again, I'm going to pull 100 of these, but PLC major level. And then I would say daily MPOC at about 92K. So between 92 and 93K, right? You got the 786 golden pocket, right? So I'll just give you some significant levels. I can't promise you're going to get down there. But, this would be a nice place. Let me take this off the chart now. Bada boom. I could take this off the chart as well. This is nice and tapped. This would give us, right, pull up a higher time frame. Well, we could say to ourselves, hey, if we get the cool off, right, bearish divergences into the level, daily red dot, not really about to print, but if that VWAP decides to roll over and give us a cool off, right, that could be an ebb or flow. Money flow indicates the trend. Red and green dots indicate the ebbs, flows, right? So we get the cool off, money flow continues up. Well, hey, this would be a significant place to look for a higher low. And, you know, the real... Yeah, maybe I'll just mark this one out because you still have the confluence here. I would say between about $92,500 and about $91,000. This would be a really nice place to put in a higher low, in my opinion. Right? I can't guarantee. Again, you could hold any of those local fibs. I'm already long from 85K, but that would be the major retracement I would look at. And let me just see something here. Let me pull. Sorry, anchored VWAP here. Yeah, so you got the anchored VWAP. Actually. Yeah, you got your anchored VWAP from here. Where's this one come in? So yeah, that would be the first place I'd look, right? If you lose that 786, well, the next major key level of support, I wouldn't really like this for the continuation up because you're technically, I mean, unless you bounce before the value area low, you know, could technically, you know, break your trend. But at the end of the day, right, this value area low is going to be super important. 89K. Like maybe you want to, hopefully, guys, if we do this, guys, I might just. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to talk about if we come back down. We're just going to have to start talking about the 5-minute time frame only. But, of course, right, like this would be for the continuation, right? Higher low, flip the PLC, maybe we continue the uptrend, right? And, again, the only reason we look for that is because that money flow is coming up on the daily. If this money flow was in a big green wave about to cross into the red, I'd be really confident about a massive dump coming. So I'm going to treat that scalp short as a scalp until proven otherwise, right? You don't have to say this is the top, it's going to zero, right? But you can take your shots and, you know, take profits along the way. Maybe even just move your stop loss if you're looking to hold it as a swing trade and then just look for that bigger move to come in. If it happens, great. If not, hey, you protected yourself. Maybe you locked in some profits. Maybe you get stopped out at break even. Remember, the most important thing about trading, guys, is capital management. Anytime you get stopped out, you should never be saying, I got wrecked. If you got wrecked, I mean, obviously, that's just kind of a term. But if you get wrecked and your account gets wrecked, that is never should be the case, right? Because you should be managing the risk. Every stop loss should be a manageable loss, an identified loss, right? Like a loss that you knew that you would take if your trade got invalidated. It should only be a small little blip in your P&L, not an absolute explosion on your account. Very important. Right? Why would I not trip if I got stopped out of here? Well, I'm going to lose a little bit of money, and I'm going to make way more on the long position. That's not because, you know, that's on a setup that might, if this doesn't play out, it's like, cool, that trade didn't play out, but I won't get wrecked, right? That has everything to do with your decisions and the trade management on your end as a person, right? Just keep that in mind, right? And then again, if it winds up coming down here, right, obviously this would be a place I would be looking to at least lock in profits. I'd probably move my stop loss before that. But then again, right, like what's price look like down here? Does it look like a really high probability of a higher low and a higher high? If so, maybe I close the whole short. So that would be kind of the place. That would be like a major target to the downside. And then, of course, watch that PLC, right? Because if we never break below this PLC, well, hey, maybe we could just hold it, send it. So there you go. That's kind of my plan. And then, of course, if we do wind up breaking down below the daily naked point of control, right, this is major. If we wind up losing this, we'll have to start talking about this range again, which hopefully is not the case. Let's see. Shout out to Matt did. They didn't believe in us. The internet companies didn't believe in us. They tried to cut us out. God did. Anyway, shout out to Matt did. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, can we just start gambling on the 1 second? # good times. Matt, maybe we will. I'll tell you what, if we come back into that range and we can't break out again, we might have no choice because we'll just come up here and be like, still the same range. It'd be absolutely brutal. Shout out to Taylor. Thank you for the super chat. Says BTC dominance going up, but can you take a look at SUI? I expect it to be one of the first alts along with ETH and SOL to go when dominance comes down. Shout out to Taylor. Yes, we will take a look at some of the altcoins in a minute. Let's see. Some of the alts. Ew. Shout out to Jennifer. Coins suck you in and let you down. Yeah, I mean, especially this cycle, right? Like altcoins have been a pretty big disappointment thus far. So 30 second is fine. Anything under the 1 minute is where the fun is at. Yeah, shout out to Matt did. I mean, there was no fun here, really, right? I mean, we caught the trades, we made our money, but dang, I mean, talk about boring price action. I mean, this is absolute brutality. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the alts. I covered some of these in the market update yesterday. Let me come on over to our alt chart, right? Ethereum, right? Holding above the value area low, just like Bitcoin, right? You flip the value area low. This is the key level to hold as support. As long as you stay above this level, money flow comes up on the daily. Higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. And as long as you stay above that value area low, that POC is the next magnetic target. And here we are. So again, resistance, right? We'll see what happens here on the daily. If we do wind up coming down, getting stuck under that POC, you might be able to confirm a little bit of a daily bear div here. Now, a daily bear div with money flow coming up is not created or treated the same as a bearish divergence forming at a key level after money flow has already gone into a big green wave and is coming out, right? If I see something like this where money flow is about to cross into the red and we have a daily bearish divergence, the indication there is that this is a significant top and you're probably going to start a bigger daily trend to the downside. In this case, that divergence is really just looked at if it prints, right? It's not there just yet, but if it does, it would just be looked at as the start of a little push down, but you can still, with money flow coming up, look for the higher lows and higher highs. And the simplest place I could tell you to look is just to pull from the previous swing low to the high. Right? This would be, and again, you're not always going to get the move all the way down there, but this would be the biggest level to hold, in my opinion, right? For the higher low and eventual higher high. If you lose that 786 here at 31.28, well, I'm probably looking down back to the, very likely the value area low of the range. So we'll see, right? If we get the pullback, right? Maybe we don't hold this level. We'll pull up the lower levels. But as of right now, right, I would just, take it step by step, right? Well, here, maybe might put a higher low in here, right? Not a bad place to take profit if you're in an ETH short, in my opinion. And also not a bad place if you can get your entry confirmations to look for a potential long for a continuation up. And I don't really love longing in the middle of a volume profile. Of course, I prefer to take them at the lows, like my long on Bitcoin, right? Come on. In from 85K below the value area low to enjoy that push into the value area and the continuation up. But at the end of the day, not everybody gets that entry. And, you got to find your entry on the way up. I would not be longing the top. That does not mean that Ethereum can't just explode out of nowhere. But, it's always going to be better to wait for those corrections, right? Like think about long. Oh, my God, we're pumping. Long, wrecked, right? You're better off waiting for that pullback for the high where the higher low is likely to form because I can almost guarantee you this is your golden pocket retracement. Tapped right into it. Right? Higher low, higher high. You're always better off longing on the pullback than just FOMOing in at the top. Anyone can do whatever they want, right? We're all adults here. But that's at least the way I do it, right? I've been wrecked probably more than anybody in here. So I've learned my lesson to long breakout, just long breakouts, at least randomly. So there you go. Shout out to Barry, said, I love the optimism thus far. It's all going to zero. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Okay, so that's what I'd be looking at here on Ethereum. Again, money flow looking very similar to Bitcoin, and then Solana was another one of the coins that we were looking at yesterday. And here we are, right? Same thing. And honestly, Solana looked a little prettier. We looked at a lot of the altcoins on the last time I was able to go live when we had internet. But, of course, you get the nice downtrend continuation on your nice money flow crossover. Nice wave, crosses into the green. You end up getting below your value area, undervalued price, right? This is where you want to look for potential longs. Up here is overvalued. Outside, above the value area is overvalued. Underneath is undervalued. Shorts, longs. Not that you just long and short value areas randomly, but that is where you're going to be looking for the trades, right? In my opinion, or at least based off my strategy and how I trade. But what do we get here? Drop to the low. Nice bullish divergences on the higher time frames, like even this 2-day. Lower lows, higher lows, deviation below. And again, this doesn't necessarily mean all-time highs, right? It just means that, hey, this is a potential bottom signal, right? And then when you see that daily money flow creeping up, hey, you might be able to start a little trend to the upside. Opens up once you get above that value area low, POC is the next high probability target. Here we are, right? Now on Solana, as I talked about yesterday in the market update, make sure you subscribe to the channel so don't miss those. Shout out to anybody who saw the one yesterday. It's like literally I think 2 or 3 hours after that update, we wound up seeing it play out. But Coming up here, right, this is resistance. We sometimes resistance at resistance, right? So, again, it's very nice to see this. It's very nice to see potential trend continuation, at least on the daily. So it could keep us open if we get a pullback to higher lows and higher highs. But this is a resistance, right? If we already swept these highs. Did we get any clean SFPs up here on any of my favorite time frames? Let's see here. And a little bit wonky there. You got a really clean SFP here. Of course, you do get a drop down, but you just wind up coming back up. So you're at resistance, right? And when we take a look here, 1 hour, bearish divergence is confirmed. 2 hour, bearish divergence is printing. Higher highs, lower highs, right? So I would not be surprised if you get a little turbulence here. But again, on a higher time frame perspective, this doesn't look that bad, right? Like we want to see the nice red waves crossing into the green. When we see the waves crossing into the red like this, especially on a daily time frame, above the value area, we get the pullback, right? Money flow is already trending out before you get the dump. You get back into the profile, boom. At this point, money flow is coming out, looking to cross into the red. You don't even need the crossover, right? As it's trending out, you can anticipate lower highs and lower lows, and lower highs and lower lows. Once you're in the red, lower highs, lower lows. Above the profile, back in, money flow comes out, looking for the dump. Below the profile, bullish divs, back in, money flow coming up. It opens the door for a continuation up. And again, the reason I say I'm cautiously optimistic is because obviously the higher time frames still don't look that good, right? And I'm talking about the weekly. You can see decent retracements on lower time frames without invalidating the broader idea on the weekly. So if we are able, I'll show you the key level. We flip this point of control to support. The next big target I'll be looking at is just simply going to be very similar to Bitcoin. Looking at the golden pocket, or we're looking at the 786. We're already at the golden pocket for Bitcoin. Golden pocket sitting between about, call it 168 all the way up to $172 almost. So flip this, right? I'd be looking to come into that golden pocket. And again, on a higher time frame, this could be an area to be looking for a macro lower high, even if you push into the 786, for a bigger lower low to come. And I'm not saying you have to come all the way down here, whatever it is. Of course, you're going to have support. We'll be able to identify, are we actually going to get that lower low to come in, or are we just going to get a cool off? I don't know what price is going to look like up here. But I just, from a broader perspective, and I hate to just be super repetitive here, guys, but like on anything, right? Weekly money flow comes to the downside. Like, I don't just, say this for no reason. Can't explain, right? Like literally almost one to one, this same thing that's happening here. Doesn't mean it has to play out like that, but you do have to be aware. Money flow comes out. Look at that green dot prints. Look at that massive pump to the upside. Look at these weekly green candles. Just those two weekly green candles give you a move of 26%, right? And that's right on that green dot prints. You wiggle sideways. You finally get it to play out, but look at your money flow continuing down. That indicates the trend. Green dot, ebb or flow to the upside. Trend, based off the money flow, was saying down. So, very similar here. And it's going to be the same thing on altcoins, obviously, as well. So, look at that. Green dot prints, you wiggle sideways, you finally get it to play out. We just measure this, right, 12%. I mean, I'm not saying it has to be 26%, right? 26% would get you all the way up to about 109K. But it's not possible to see, like, big retracements while still keeping that higher time frame bearish bias in mind, right? And again, like once we see the reason to flip here for all-time highs, I'll be the first person to let you know. So there you go. That's what we're looking at on Solana. Those are the next targets to the upside. And, just in general here, biggest key level to hold as support at this point, right? Like the hope would be that you stay inside your volume profile, right? You don't want to lose that. We could pull our fib all the way from the low to the high, right? So I'll just kind of re-pull that blue box up. Don't want to lose this, right? This would be the lowest I would accept Solana to come down before looking for a new low to come in, right? That could be a technical high or low for another push above. And yes, of course, there's going to be local fibs you can look at as well, but I'm not going to pull up 100 different levels. It's just going to confuse everybody. But if you do get the bigger drop down, this is the most important level, that 786 value area low, which comes in between 123.33 or 123.57 to about $125. Once you break below that, what does that do? That invalidates the idea of a higher low, and I will be looking for a bigger drop down to this bigger zone between 112.79 and 105.59. So we'll see, right? Can we get that daily trend to continue? I hope so. All right, let's see. Shout out to Brillo, said your strategy helped me take a fat long on Dash at 36. Would have thought it would explode. Wouldn't have thought it would explode so much. Thank you. Shout out to Brillo. Let's go, baby. Throw some money for Brillo. Come on. We got some 20s in here, guys. I'm not going to lie. Mostly hundreds, but shout out to Brillo. Let's go, baby. Making money in the CandleMafia. Whether price goes up or down. In this case, price is going. Do you see that, guys? Perfect balance. Perfect balance. But anyway, shout out to Brillo. Of course, bro. We give this value for free every single weekday. And Brillo, I know you know that. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Or don't, right? Free will. 2026 is the year of free will. Shout out to Dave Hagan, said, Frankie, at what point would money flow turning in the opposite direction on the weekly get your attention? So it wouldn't just be the money flow that I'd be looking at. Obviously, that would be something I would want to see. But I'll tell you what, it would have to be pretty dang dramatic. I could try to show like a different kind of, this is Solana. Let me pull up Bitcoin real quick. Because like you could kind of see here, right? Like sometimes you do get a little bit of an ebb and flow. Like money flow is more about general trend, right? Is money flow trending up or is money flow trending down? Yes, you got a little ebb or flow here, but it's just generally trending to the downside. If you have a hard time figuring that out, you can just draw a trend line from the peaks, and you can just see here, right? Like not only do you have the bearish divergence on your momentum waves and your RSI, if you're looking at that for your divergences, but you also have the money flow divergence as well. So like if we saw it pop to the upside, and you'll see this on money flow very often. It doesn't always just come out super smooth, even here, right? Like we come out, you sneak back up. But again, like the money flow is not the only thing that I'm looking at. And as a matter of fact, if you guys watch the channel all the way back here, this money flow coming out on the weekly here, sure, we look at it and we say, this could be a little bit concerning, but this was not my anticipation back here, right? I didn't have the anticipation of bear market incoming. As a matter of fact, we had the opposite anticipation, which was, hey, massive bullish divergences into support. We're still above that 50-week moving average, which was right about there. We were looking for all-time highs. It has to do with a lot of other things, right? We had a lot of time in the cycle. We didn't have all the stuff that we have here, right? We're below the 50-week moving average. We're, technically have enough time historically to have the bull market play out, literally almost to the day, the same amount of time as the previous cycle. Where's the cycle chart here? Right, like literally almost the exact same amount of days, right? So again, I'm not going to trade just based off that. 1,425 days from peak to peak, 1,421 days peak to peak. So this is, again, not something like, oh my God, this happened, this has to be the top. But it is just something that like made me a little bit more concerned here. And another thing that we don't have down here, guys, is those really clear big bullish divergences, right? Like here you had high time frame bull divs. So it's not just one thing. The weekly money flow would really have to start cooking to the upside in an aggressive way. But it's going to be kind of a lagging indicator. So we'll see what happens. It's not impossible to just come up with no divergence. But when this changes, I'll let you know. We'll see early signs maybe on the 6th day. 6th day is already trying to peek back into the green. But again, right, like even if this comes up, could just be another lower high. So we have to be careful. So there's no real exact measurement unless like the only exact measurement I would have there is, and again, it's not really a science, but like if you're coming out in like ebbs and flows, if the money flow comes back up and starts breaking those previous highs, kind of like price action, right? If you make new highs, then it would be saying to me like, well, hey, that's a strong crossover. But here you don't really have that. It's kind of just a smooth dump. So, and by the time money flow comes back up here and cracks this high, right? Like it's already played out. So no real exact measurement on that, but just to kind of give you a little insight on like why I like this a lot better, right? There's like no divergences that we have here, which, again, not possible to just go into all-time highs, but, this is why my bias is the way it is. What I would be paying a lot of attention to is the 50-week moving average. If we could flip that 50-week moving average, and, I am a technical trader, so, even if we get back up to that 50-week, let me pull it up here, and we flip it, right? This will make me feel a little better because we've never seen that happen before. That's an actual new piece of information that we can take into account. That's not just being hopium, random senseless hopium or anything like that. You're actually seeing something different. But at the end of the day, right, like the real invalidation, the reason I bring up that 115 to 116K level is this would really be like the structural level, in my opinion, to break. You break 115 to 116K because when we look for the lower highs and the lower lows to come in, obviously, just like on a low time frame like we were just looking at, the Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786 is the area to look at, right? So you have the local fibs, which we're tapping into right now, but at the end of the day, you could potentially even put in a lower high here to roll over, like I brought up earlier, right? And people say head and shoulders. So, really the line in the sand for me personally would be flipping 115 to 116K. And then if at that point money flow is really starting to cook to the upside again, then we can say, hey, all-time highs. Which, of course, already a lot of the move has happened. Of course, long from 85K. It's not that again, it doesn't mean when we long down here, we don't have to say this is the long before all-time highs. You can let it hit you by surprise. If we get up here, we'll shave some profits off. But, if it looks good on the way up, we could just continue to hold that little moon bag. If it wants to go to all-time highs, we can continue to hold that long. So, just a little insight. Let's see. Shout out to Sandra. Thank you for the super chat. Says, welcome back, Frankie. Hope you're given compensation. Shout out to Sandra. Yeah, Pooja, help me out. Shout out to Pooja, the homie. Oh, God, Mrs. Candle's going to be like, who's Pooja? But no, I did get compensation. They, upped my stuff. They, upped my bandwidth, and they gave me, a bunch of money off my bill for the next year. Not that I even really care about that. I was like, just get my internet back on. I'll pay you double. But yeah, they did give me a little bit of compensation, and I should call back tomorrow, though, because they said it was going to be fixed today, and now I'm going to have to deal with more problems tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. Shout out to Brillo, said, is it just me, or do hidden bull divs tend to result in macro lower highs more often? Shout out to Brillo. I don't have a numerical statistical number to give you. But yeah, I mean, it is a lot similar. It is very similar to 2021. And this was another reason, right? Again, we don't have to say, right? If you ask me, hey, Frankie, you're long from 85K. Are you going to hold that for all-time highs? Well, my base case here is probably not all-time highs, right? It's going to be the idea of a lower high and a lower low, or maybe in the most bullish case, that's the last place to put the lower high in. But if it hits us by surprise, at one point I could take my final profits and just have my stop loss in profit, let it run. If it stops me out, I'll still make a ton of money. So you can let it hit you by surprise. And, why am I even interested in taking a long down here, right? Well, we had the local range. I'm not going to go into every specific detail, but we had the local range, and we understood that retracements could happen here. And, we had the weekly green dot on top of the weekly hidden bullish divergence, right? So this is where, my job gets kind of hard up here, guys, because it's like hidden weekly bullish divergence. Isn't that bullish? Why are you saying that you could continue down? Well, yes, this hidden bullish divergence is bullish, right? It's a bullish divergence. It's in the name, right? But that could just be bullish for the overall trend continuation down. Exactly what happened in 2021. And I'm not saying this because it has to play out like that. It's just very similar. There's your higher lows. There's your lower lows. There's your hidden bullish divergence. Here's your green dot on the weekly. There's your big retracement. What happens? Eventually, high time frame, it's a lower high for a lower low. So yes, it's bullish, but not all higher lows and not all bullish divergences are created equal. Just like I explained earlier in the stream on the daily, if we get a daily bearish divergence here at our key level of resistance, right, which, by the way, we brought up on the market update earlier, or yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. If we did wind up printing this bearish divergence, higher highs, lower highs, well, money flow is coming up, right? So I wouldn't necessarily, although in this specific case, this could be a lower high, but just in general, right, this could just be looked at as a reversal signal for an ever flow to the downside. If that money flow is coming up, you have to be open. You're never going to know 100%, right? Like, I spent so much of my time trading, trying to find the thing that was going to make me 100% certain. And it took me a long time to realize there is nothing that's going to make you 100% certain until you kind of have market experience and you actually understand, like, hey, it's just a higher probability, right? It's never going to be 100% certain. Sure, in my opinion right now, my bias is the higher probability is a lower high and lower low, but I'm also open to the idea that it does have an invalidation, right? And maybe if we get above here and things start looking really good, maybe I start to feel really good about all-time highs. I just won't know until we get to the level. But just like this bearish divergence could just indicate a pullback for a higher low and a higher high because money flow indicates the overall trend. It'd be the same thing there on the weekly, but just in the opposite direction, right? Hidden weekly bullish divergence, yes, bullish, but money flow is coming out. Little ever flow to the upside for a potential lower high and lower low. If it decides to get up here and flip and go, well, great. I'd honestly rather be wrong to the upside than the downside. So, and that's not just why I'm saying that my bias is that we will probably put in a lower high, but just kind of helps me, right? Because it's like, well, hey, like worst case scenario, spot bags continue to pump. long continues to play out, right? You have to hedge yourself, and you don't need to know 100% where things are going to make money. So we took a look at Solana. We took a look at Ethereum. Let's jump in on what else did we look at? Take a look at Cardano really quickly. So Cardano, obviously, just continuing to reject our golden pocket retracement here. Next target to the upside, if we do continue up, is going to be the 786 sitting at 45 cents. And again, I'm not going to repeat this every time. General thought process is the same thing for altcoins, right? Let me actually check in on dominance real quick, right? So dominance popping to the upside. So on this retracement, we really want dominance to continue to tank, which obviously, at least locally here, is not the case. 4-day money flow still trending out. 5-day money flow still technically trending out. Again, these time frames are like cruise ships. They don't turn on a dime. They take a long time to roll back. 6-day money flow still technically trending out. But you do have these high time frame green dots, guys. Weekly green dot printing. Money flow trying to tick up there. Again, not a huge indication to me, right? Because that could just be another lower high for a continuation. But yeah, we'll see. 2-week green dot potentially looking to print. Yeah, we'll see, right? Obviously, would want this money flow to continue to the downside for the altcoins. The thought process here over the long term has been, hey, if we can continue this money flow coming to the downside and Bitcoin can get a rally and we can, keep this kind of bearish sentiment, even if it has to bing bong around a little bit, that's kind of your hope for the altcoins, right? You want dominance to at least, stay stagnant, start to drop, and then the altcoins will have their time to shine. And that time would be, as we're retracing. Maybe Bitcoin gets the first move up, starts to consolidate a little bit. Maybe we bing bong around where we're at right now. Then dominance starts to drop. Altcoins can follow. And, that's the hope there. Again, I wouldn't be calling for a massive alt season or anything like that. I would look at it as a rotational alt season. All that remains the same. Let's come on over here. XRP. I'll come back to Cardano in a second. Yeah, XRP just still kind of trying to hold on top of the value area. Again, key level still remains the same here. $2. You want to stay inside this volume profile. I'll just give you that, right? We'll talk about some lower levels if we have to. But the biggest level, you just want to stay inside this value area. As long as you're inside this value area, the doorway to the POC is open. I don't really love the 4-hour money flow here, to be honest. Green dot printing on the daily. So, but you can even see here, right? We flipped the value area low as we looked at. Get above the value area low with money flow trending up. On the 90-minute, it was also coming up. On other time frames, 4-hour was crossing over, flip that value area low, money flows on your side. Once you stay above here, doorway to the POC is open. And literally, ticked it. And that's where we're pulling back from. The accuracy of the volume profiles is unmatched, in my opinion. I'm not saying you can't find these key levels without volume profiles, but it's a super easy way to find the blueprint for price, right? I mean, for dang near 4 years here, we talk about flipping the value area, money flow coming up, high probability push into the POC, and just time and time again, right? Just tick it almost to the dollar or the penny, I guess, here on XRP. So we'll see. A lot of the altcoins are going to look exactly the same. And on Cardano, I already talked about that next target to the upside. This is a zone, golden pocket 786. This comes up to about 45 cents. We're back above the POC. I would say, personally, this point of control is, overall long term, you don't always just get a super clean volume profile rotation, right? Sometimes you get below the POC, you get back above it, you get little retracements, but overall, as long as we are within this larger profile, the expectation would be, even on retracements, to continue down, right? Because the high time frame, weekly money flow in the red, right? You could see significant retracements come in here before rolling back over. But hopefully, right, this is the weekly money flow coming out. Look at the daily. Daily trending up. I looked at this on almost every altcoin. We just went down the list and looked at all this daily money flow. If this can cross green, might be time for some relief here, right? Get above that 786. Next big level I would look at personally would be, see where this fib comes in from the previous significant lower high. Yeah, I mean, just like if we get crack that 786, that invalidates this local lower high, and I would be looking to break structure to the upside into your next zone, which sits right up here. 786, golden pocket, value area high confluence. Flip, 45 cents. Again, flipping it is not wick, closure, dump, right? You want to get above it, retest it. You're looking to crack that high and push into this next zone. Next zone above sits between 50 and 55 cents. Value area high, absolutely gigantic level. And then, of course, if you can't get out of the range, right, you might just be putting in that lower high to eventually fill the volume profile. And I try to show examples of like when the volume profiles don't play out super cleanly. Like you could see here, get above the low, flip the POC right up to the high, get below the low, pretty clear, right? Hit the POC, come back up, back down, back up for a retracement, back down to fill the value area low. So just kind of showing this, right? The POC is moving around because we're changing time frames here. But like if I come back into bar replay mode, bada boom, right? Like sometimes it can be wonky, right? You come down, right? And even here, if you were looking at this local profile, you'd be looking for a rotation of the high. You don't get it, right? You wind up coming back down to that macro value area low, which obviously you would have to pull this back to get. So just like to show that. Like even on Solana, I think there's a really good example. Like here, you get above the low. Oh, we're flipping the POC. Boom. Big retracement to the value area low, back to the high. You still get the full rotation. It's just a little bit wonky. And that's why I say the value area low, like this is the super key level. If I flip this upside down, it's kind of similar to Cardano. Right? You get here, you lose the POC, value area low, right? Well, not necessarily, right? You get a big push up, lower high, right? Because the chart's upside down. You can't break out of the value area high, back down to the low. Like it's programmed into price, right? And it doesn't mean that you can't identify your bullish divergences, right? Not that you can't make money off that. There's your bull div. Nice long, right? But overall, your anticipation can still be lower lows. It's almost the same exact thing on Cardano, right? So if I pull ADA back up, technically, I know it seems crazy, but there's a perfect example of why that's not crazy. Even if you, let me re-invert the chart. Let me just take this off real quick. Lose the POC, back up to the high, still possible to get that rotation, right, based off the higher time frames. So just to kind of show you guys the context. Context is king. And to be honest, like for me to really look for big moves up, and again, like, you know, this is a pretty significant move up. And even here, right, like pull up a, maybe a daily time frame. You get the daily bull divs down here. Look at this. It's like literally the same thing as Solana. Lower lows, higher lows. Maybe you get a nice big push. Does not mean that you can't get the rejection there on your retracement. Same exact thing. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. And for Cardano, right, like you might think like, well, what invalidates that for you? Personally, on Cardano, it's kind of rough, right? Because once we get above here, it's like, okay, cool, we're breaking out. I got to flip above this 786 here at 65 cents. So, for me to really be calling for higher prices, we got a lot to get through here. So we'll take it step by step. Of course, let's get above here. Then we can start looking at the value area high. And hopefully it doesn't play out like, that Solana example. But, we can only hope. We can only hope. What's the name of the indicator for the 50-week moving average showing on multiple time frames? Actually don't know it. This one. You can screenshot it. I have no affiliation. It's just like a free indicator. And it's nice because you don't have to look at the weekly to see it. It'll show up on any time frame. Dogecoin, yeah, we can take a look at Doge. No problemo. Let me jump into Doge here real quick. All right, so, of course, similar situation on Dogecoin. You had some slightly bullish divergences down here. They weren't as clean as on Cardano, but we tapped into the 786, which was a huge key level. We needed to hold this, right? If we lost this, super, super high probability fast drop down to this value area high at 9 cents. We wound up holding it. We got some bullish divergences, and we get the push up. Next major target, if we continue up, is going to be the value area low of this range at about between 16 and 17 cents, I would call it. And then, we'll see, right? If we can crack up in here, money flow crosses into the green. Money flow still lagging behind a little bit on Dogecoin, right? Kind of round it off here. But, watch this daily money flow, Maybe we ebb or flow, right? Might kind of bing bong around. But to look for the overall bigger continuation up, I would say your biggest level of resistance is 16 to 17 cents. It's your macro value area low. This could just be a range retest for another dump. But if we can get that money flow to continue up, right? Like just very simple. Nice red wave, nice continuation of the downtrend. Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high, low, low, low high, low, low, right? Big old red wave. That's what you want to see. Now it's rounding back up. You're just literally looking for the opposite. Now you can be open to higher lows and higher highs and higher lows and higher highs. Flip the value area low. If that money flow is just starting to cross into the green, what do you have? You literally have a deviation below the low, a reclaim of the value area low, and that's money flow on your side. If it crosses green, you could say, well, hey, if I stay above this value area low, doorway to the POC is open. I am not looking directly up there right now because we have major resistance ahead. So, but that's what I would be looking at. Daily, lagging a little bit behind. I don't love that, but it is headed in the right direction. Is this trending up or trending down? Draw your trend line. That is a trend to the upside. So let me just pull our fib here from here to here. Yeah, so you got a little work to do there, to be honest. So we'll see. I'd like to see the reclaim of 16 to 17 cents for the bullish case with money flow crossing into the green. Might chop around a little bit before that, but that's what we're hoping for. And the altcoins, when they move, they do move. So, maybe we'll just get a moonshot. But that's kind of what I would be looking at on Dogecoin. Taking a look at the 4-hour. Yeah, 4-hour, I don't really have beautiful confluence here. I don't really, this money flow wave doesn't look super clean. This is kind of just flat in the red. Not my favorite. Let's check the 16 and the 12-hour. 16-hour trying to come up. 12-hour trying to come up. Let's check the 8-hour. 8-hour attempting to come up, but you got a red dot incoming. It's a little bit more unclear on Dogecoin, if I'm being honest. So a little bit choppy there on money flow, but those are the key levels. You got to break above 16 to 17 cents and watch that daily money flow crossover. To delete all the noise, you just watch the higher time frames, right? If this just continues to trend up, that's what you want to see. That would be the big signal I would look at for a bigger trend to the upside to begin, or continue, I should say. Biggest key level to the downside, still going to be this kind of tapped weekly MPOC 786 zone. You wind up pretty much breaking the lows. I'd be looking down towards about 9 cents. But you have a little bit of room to come down before you have to deal with that. Please, Dogecoin, go up. Again, nice daily bull div, typically. Again, this is just lagging behind a little bit. If this looked like Solana's money flow where you're just starting to crack into the green, I could tell you, nice bull div at the 786, higher lows, lower lows, money flow crossing green. It's just, if Solana continues up, Ethereum continues up, you could expect Dogecoin to continue as well. Not financial advice, but, just at face value here, it is lagging behind just a little bit. But hopefully we can get the continuation up. And of course, just in the overall anticipation of Bitcoin's lower high, don't forget, guys, if this lower high comes in here and we get a massive dump, that could just be a big fake out on the altcoins as well. Hopefully that's not the case, right? Right now, this daily money flow looks pretty good. So we'll see. We'll have a better idea once we get this cool off. And as we come into some retracement levels, we can identify like, hey, does this still look healthy or does it look really bearish? Then we'll have a better idea. But the hope is daily money flow, right? I'll just put it this way. The daily indicators, the daily money flow looks like it wants to see some relief, which is nice. It's right where we would hope it would happen. And that's on the altcoins as well. It's the weekly. It's the higher time frames that just don't look that good. But again, it could be very nice relief if we see those daily indicators continue up. Does it change the higher time frame context? Not really. But daily indicators starting to come up. Hey, relief could be on the way, right? When we see those signs, we're not going to, we've already seen the first nice push up, right? So it's kind of already played out, at least to a small degree. We're just hoping that can continue. I'm just a little bit suspicious in this specific context. If we are indeed going to continue the bigger capitulation down, right? If we get that, whether it happens here, 115, 108 to 110, regardless of where it comes in at, if that comes in, people are going to be starting, oh my God, now we're in a bear market at $70,000, right? But in my head, I would be thinking, well, hey, we've kind of been thinking maybe the bear market has begun, right? Say we get the capitulation, we come down here. At that point, you could say, if we look back, let's say this plays out. When you're looking back, you're going to be like, oh, this was the start of the bear market, right? Even though people will be saying this is the start of the bear market, it really is up here, right? Nobody thought, or I don't want to say nobody, but a lot of people, again, I know this because I got cooked on the internet. Back here, everybody wanted higher prices, right? And I'm not letting that keep me biased, right? Like, Same thing on our current price action was the same thing back here. If we flipped that 50-week moving average, I would have been looking up towards higher targets. But when we came up here, it wasn't looking great once we started getting that weekly red dot. We had the blood diamond. We had a lot of things pointing down. But everyone doesn't say bear market until you start to really get the capitulation, right? And then they're like, oh, my God, now we're entering a bear market. But at that point, most of it's over. They're not looking, they don't, they think, oh, this is the start of the bear market. But in hindsight, they're probably saying this is the start of the bear market. Oh, my God, that was the top. So the reason I say that is because if that capitulation does end up coming in on our current price action, again, whether it comes in here or one of the higher levels that we're watching, you would consider this the start of the bear market. And in bear markets, money flow does tend to spend a lot more time in the red than the green. You have to identify the environment that you're trading in, which is why I am cautiously optimistic, right? Because it wouldn't super shock me if this did end up just like rolling over and we ended up getting the lower high here on this golden pocket. It is possible that this can fake out, just to kind of forewarn, right? And honestly, it looks so similar to this. Again, not that it has to play out the same, but like you could just see that example, that situation is like perfectly exemplified here. Nice, big, long green money flow wave. Nice, big, long green money flow wave. That's bull market money flow on the daily, right? Short little money flow wave into the red. Big, nice, long money flow wave in the green, right? Here, start of the bear market, money flow goes red. You might think to yourself, hey, it's time to spend some time in the green, but not if you don't understand that this could be the start of a much bigger downtrend. If you weren't paying attention to the higher time frames that were indicating that money flow coming out, right, you wouldn't know. It'd be the same thing back here. Hey, money flows crossed green. This could indicate a continuation of the trend. What happens? You get a continuation of the trend. Higher low, higher high, kind of went sideways there, but another higher high comes in. But you did not spend a lot of time in the green. You kind of came right back into the red, and another capitulation came. So, again, I'm not going to say that this is going to fake out, but I am open to that idea. That's why I am cautiously optimistic. If that faked out, I'd be like, well, hey, if this fakes out and we just get a big capitulation, well, hey, it's like, it's a bearish environment, macro bearish trend. Not impossible to spend a little less time in the green and a lot more time in the red. All right, and then another big red long money flow wave. And this is the daily time frame. So there you go. All right, let's see. Yeah, Monero. let's take a look. Obviously, guys, Monero on an absolute cookfest here. This is obviously a individual situation, right? This is not happening on really any other altcoins for the most part. So this is kind of like its own thing happening. Is this the early signal for an alt season? I personally would not view it like that. That might be like a narrative that you're hearing. I personally don't view it like that. I hope that's the case. It's just not my, this is the only one doing it, right? Kind of similar to like when Zcash was pull it up over here. Oh, whoops. There we go. Oh, come on. Give me more price history than that, man. Oh, no, that's the weekly. All right, let's pull this up on a lower time frame. So, same thing with like Zcash, right? Like Zcash, absolute ripper. I think a lot of people see it like, oh my God, that's a first mover. That's a first mover. Listen, maybe, but obviously, like not a lot of the altcoins follow that, right? Or maybe not even any, maybe like one or two. And the privacy coins oftentimes are kind of like an isolated incident, which does happen quite often. So again, I don't really see that as like a major like market signal, but no. There is absolutely no denying this thing is on an absolute rip. Insane. So, I could try to get you some targets here. What is this? This is 2021. Perfect. So I'll try to get you some like upwards targets. It's really hard to kind of like, not much to do up in this candle here, or these two candles. But what I can do is I can pull up some Fibonacci extension. Well, there you go. That would be the target I would have pulled up. But you've already tapped it, right? So, like, there's your first major level, which gives you a very clear view here. If you can reclaim this Fibonacci extension at 786, this would be your next target between 1,050, 1,217. That would be, I mean, that's really all I can give you, right? I cannot look left. The only thing I can give you are these extension targets. So wouldn't be surprised if you get some kind of turbulence up in here, and maybe it's the top. Again, on such a big, crazy rip like that, money flow ripping into the green on the weekly. So it's like really hard for me to kind of find any like divergences or like just deviations between two things. So just you're at resistance. This is like a major target. And again, if I had pulled this fib is pulled from the top of 2021 to the bottom of 2022, this would have been the new all-time high target. From all the way back here, we would have been looking at that level. We just don't really look at Monero. So that is a big target. So anybody who's, again, not financial advice. If I were holding a ton of Monero from somewhere down here or maybe lower, this would be a huge place for me to take profits. Not to say that it can't continue up, but like this would 100% be a place where I'd be taking profits. And then if maybe we come down, flip that to support, next major target from a Fibonacci extension level perspective would be about 1,050 to 1,220 bucks. So there you go. Monero, absolute ripper. I'm not really going to be able to do much here. I mean, you just have like a massively oversold daily wave. There's no divergences or anything, so not really a lot I can do there. Could try to look a little bit more locally. I mean, do you have 4-hour bear divs? I mean, just look at the respect on that level. It's wild. Self-fulfilling prophecy maybe, but still works. But yeah, like, do you have divergences here? Yes. Like, is that the cleanest divergence? Not really. So, I'm not chasing this if that's what anybody is looking for. I would not be chasing this. Not to say it can't go up. That does not follow any of my systems or any of my plans. For me, when the chart looks like this, I've missed that move. Too late for me to chase that. But there you go, right? Major level of resistance, 782. Break above that, looking up towards those next targets up here. I exited the Monero long too early and missed the move. Shout out to Brillo. Hey, did you close it in profit, bro? If you made money, you made money. I know how painful that could be to just see something rip up like that after you close the trade. But don't let that leak into your psychology and stop you from taking profits on other trades. If you made money, it was a good trade. I haven't watched the news in 3 years. Shout out to Jesse. Wick says, Jesse, this is my first effort not to watch the news. Watching Frankie instead. Shout out to Wick589. Good choice. Good choice. Shout out to Fake Gods Gaming says, Solana, bro, going up more. Shout out to you, brother. We looked at Solana. It was like, I think the first altcoin that we looked at. If you scrub back to the beginning of the stream, we already went over Solana. So you get my full thoughts on that. Let's see. Imagine XMR runs to 50K and you were a witness. Shout out to Mike Bennett. That would be insane. 50K would be crazy. That would be, roughly from where we are now. That would be, whoa. 7,100%. Hey, let's go. Watching the news sucks. Yeah, shout out to Bailey. I have not watched the news in I can't tell you how long. I get news on social media, I guess because it's kind of replaced it. It's not like I don't know what's going on in the news, but yeah, I can't remember the last time I actually turned on the TV to watch it. I can't remember the last time I watched TV, not like Netflix or something. And even Netflix is struggling against YouTube these days. I am in the craziest YouTube rabbit holes you guys could ever imagine. Let's see. Near, yeah, we could try to take a look at Near, no problem. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything here in the chat. Shout out to Rudy. He says, man, I still remember the first day I got in crypto and thought 2 to 3 days and Lambo time. Those were the days. Shout out to Rudy. There are still, trust me, those people come in every day. Every day. It's it's like a rite of passage. I think everybody thinks that when they first get into crypto. They're like, come on, you're going to get rich overnight. And listen, not to say it doesn't happen. But obviously, it takes experience to understand that, sometimes it takes a long time. I made a lot of money in crypto very quickly, but to really get that crazy money, it Took a long time. Takes a long time. Let's see. Tracks NYC going viral. Shout out to Independent. Speaking of YouTube rabbit holes, yo, I was on the Tracks NYC train when he started his channel. I've been a fan of Tracks NYC forever. I've been on jewelry and watch flipping YouTube for many years. Shout out to Track. When he went viral, I was like, he's already gotten pretty big, up until this point. But when he went like mega viral like that, like hundreds of millions of views, I was like, come on, baby. That's my boy. That's my boy. Shout out to Trax. He's the man. BTC is overbought. Yes, overbought on the RSI. YouTube is the future. Yeah, man. It's really hard. I just, loop it in bed. Just like next episode. Crazy. I do YouTube during the day and I watch YouTube at night. Only thing I watch on TV is soccer. Yeah, I think that's like one of the big things that's like still alive on TV is sports. Shout out to Brillo said, "Oh wait, I lied. It was a good chunk. It was a good chunk 2R." Hey, shout out to you, brother. Nice. Look at the weather sometimes. Yeah, I guess weather. Yeah, you also find silver up 172%. Yeah, that was the real bull run. Silver, man. Track's been telling people. He's been telling people for years. Gold and silver. It's funny too because he like hates on crypto. He's like, I don't care about your stupid Bitcoin, your altcoins. It's nothing. I want something I can hold in my hand. It's gonna go up. Oh man. Well, hey, shout out to Trax. If you guys want financial advice, go check out Trax. He'll tell you what metal to buy. Insane. But anyway. Oh yeah, NIR. Let's take a quick look at NIR. Where are we at? We got NIR here somewhere. NIR here. There we go. All right. So let's go on down to the daily. Let me just get my bearings here because we have not looked at this in a while. So there's your macro. Is this the log? Let me pull this on. Okay. So slip that 786. Nice reclaim there. Daily money flows, it's attempting to come up, right? Again, on Solana, it looks a bit better because you're already getting the crossover. So some of the other stuff just kind of lagging behind, like NIR, right? Like if we can get that to cross over on NIR, I'd feel a little bit better about it. But, so far, trending up on money flow. 16-hour money flow crossing over into the green as well could be an early indication that daily could follow. You're above the 786. Let me just see this range real quick. All right, so value area high remains the same. And this is kind of a wonked out range, right? Fly through it, back down, still respected, back through, fly through it. But you held the 786, front ran the POC and the value area low, which again makes me a little suspicious of potentially getting another drop down there. But it doesn't mean you can't get a bigger retracement first. So let me go ahead and pull this Fibonacci retracement. We'll pull it from the high to the low. So you got a little confluence there on your value area high and your golden pocket. So, just in general, right? Like the highest I would like to see this go, value area high, just like I showed on Solana, right? You're not always going to get the perfect fill of the range. Sometimes you can get the bigger retracements before putting in lower highs and lower lows. Medium time frame, I could say, I got to start calling these something different. Like weekly would be more of a like macro time frame. Daily is a high time frame, and then your medium time frames are like the 4 to 1 hour. But, daily money flow coming up. I like the fact that the 16 hours already crossed over. Again, these act as dominoes, right? So 16-hour crosses over. The daily money flow can very easily continue with it. Take a look at the 12-hour also crossed into the green. So, yeah, as at this point, right, hold above the 786. Next major target could be the value area high / golden pocket retracement between 239 and 227, or almost 229, or I'm sorry. Yeah, 228. That's kind of your big level. right? Once you crack above the 786, golden pocket, rather. Sorry. All right, let's say we do continue the overall uptrend. Once you flip that golden pocket, 786 would be next. And again, I wouldn't expect it to necessarily look like this, but that would be the, let's take it step by step here. Watch the value area high golden pocket, and then let me see where our anchored VWAPs are popping up. I'll pull it from, pull it from the high here. And so, yeah, locally, I would say your next target would be this local golden pocket pulled from this last significant lower high. And the reason I wouldn't pull it from here is because we're already playing around with that level. So if we break up, next local level I would look at would be sitting right here, about $2, right? $1.95 to $2.01. Flip that anchored VWAP. At that point, right, I'm probably looking at the value area high, but you do want to understand the 786 sits here at about 214. But we'll see, right? If we get up here, right, what's your money flow doing? Is it continuing up, right? And I also don't want you guys to sleep on the fact that you are technically tapping into your golden pocket retracement currently, locally, right? This is, again, are you going to reject here? Are you going to reject here? Are you going to reject at the bigger one? They're all valid, right? If money flow is coming up here on the 16-hour, I wouldn't be surprised if this just ends up being a little cool-off before continuing up to the bigger level. Up here, if the money flow is still cooking into the green, maybe it's crossing into the green on the daily, you would anticipate the same thing, continuation of the trend. So locally, you are tapping resistance. Crack the 786 at $1.86. I'd be looking up here to about $2. Once you flip that, I'd be looking up to about $2.14. And then, to be honest, once you break that, I'm probably looking up to the top of that golden pocket. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I don't want to get super carried away. So $2. Next target to the upside. Currently at resistance with potential bearish divergences printing. Higher highs, lower highs. Not impossible for the pullback. But again, with money flow coming up, this isn't necessarily instant thought is not always going to be the lower low. If money flow is coming up, I would look at that as a lackluster retracement for potential higher lows and higher highs. So there you go. And weekly, pretty deep in the red here on the weekly. And you did fill your wick in full, which is nice to see. So we'll see. Overall volume profile, though. Well, actually, I'll keep this on the chart. Overall volume profile, let's take it off right now to make it nice and simple, right? Key major support if you make a new low, value area low, $1.29. PLC sits in the same zone, and then your value area high is sitting at 227. Shout out to Wig589 said, thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, solicitation to make women's volleyball the official sport of the Frankie Candles channel, nay, all of crypto. Women's volleyball. I've never seen a women's volleyball game. Is it exciting? I don't want to bring up like the WNBA stuff, but shout out to Wig589. It's like huge drama and controversy on the women's WNBA. It's funded by the NBA. Shout out to Wig5. I would say bocce ball is probably the official sport of the CandleMafia. Shout out to bocce ball. If you never played bocce ball, you're not a dang. Anyway. Shout out to Nicholas said, selling my soul. I'm free. Awesome TA, Frankie. Shout out to Nicholas. Welcome in. Welcome in. I don't know the context of selling your soul. You're selling a trade or you're selling your spot bags. Let me know what you're talking about. Every day, you don't know where coins will be. That is true. That is true. Luckily, you don't really need to know where they're going to be. I know that sounds like the most ridiculous thing ever. But shout out to Jennifer. I think you've heard the explanation 100 times, so I know you know. It's the beauty of being a trader. But let's see. Watch the Swedish women's volleyball team. Oh, retracted. Shout out to Martin. Shout out to Independent Crypto said ass. That's all it is. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So slightly in profit spot bags. Rather be safe than sorry. Forget the potential upside. Shout out to Nicholas. There you go. Making the decision. I love it, brother. I love it. Bocce ball. Yeah, it's got to be bocce ball. Come on, sip your cappuccino. Play some bocce ball. Actually, I haven't played bocce ball in quite some time. How do you mark these levels with a single click? Shout out to Saeed. I'm not sure exactly what level you're talking about. Yeah, not 100% sure. Oh, you might be asking how I delete the levels with a single click. Like, how did I do this? At least on if you're using a mouse, you just click in the scroll wheel. That's what it is for me. I don't know what it is on like a trackpad though. If you're using a laptop, chat's gone sideways. Just talking about volleyball. But anyway, let's see. How's virtuals? We could take a look at it. I think I have virtuals here. Old. So there's old levels, old levels, old levels, old levels, old levels. Let me update this. Volume profile. Boom. 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 Take this off. There we go. All right, so I'll be honest, guys. Like, all the altcoins look the same. We covered this. Again, Monero looks different. Not all altcoins look the same, but, you know, a majority of the altcoins are all going to, you know, sentiment remains exactly the same, not remains, but stays consistent throughout most of the altcoins, right? Like, there's your 12-hour money flow trending up, 16-hour money flow trending up, daily money flow, again, not as far along as Solana, but trending to the upside. I'll give you the key levels here. Upper value area. There's your perfect resistance on your value area low, $1.15, right? The hope here would be, yeah, you didn't really get the bull divs, to be honest, at least on the daily, but you did get them here on the 2-day, or the 3-day. There's your lower lows. There's your higher lows. Money flow, VWAP, like still the higher time frames don't look super nice, but you got the bull divs. This is a major level to break. This is your doorway to higher prices. I'll even label it, or we'll just label it the Bing Bong Zone. Flip that value area low, opens up the door to the POC. Let's pull this up on a daily. This is probably confluent with our lower high. Right, so I'm not going to mark this out. Well, I guess I will still mark it out because the value area low is still relevant. But value area low, golden pocket. Not an unpredictable place to get a pullback from, right? But if we can get this money flow on the 12-hour, 16-hour daily to continue up, it would be valid to be looking for higher lows and higher highs. Flipping this value area low would open the door to the POC, sitting at $1.46. This is the biggest level to get above. That would get you accepted back into your upper value area, turning that POC into a magnetic level. And then the only other big level I would look at above that, or just before the POC, would be about $1.33. So the three biggest levels on virtuals would be golden pocket value area low, $1.18 to $1.13. Flip that to support. The next likely place for price to go is the 786. And then once you break that, hey, if you get the rejection at the 786 and you're able to stay inside the volume profile with money flow coming up, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. At that point, if you're looking for the higher high, that next major target would be $1.46. And then if we get up here, right, we can reassess the situation, right? Because that is also your macro 786 as well. So if we get up here, money flow looks really good. We could talk about the possibility of eventually flipping this and going all the way to the high. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? It's not necessarily guaranteed, especially in the context that we're sitting in right now. We'll take it level to level. Let's get above the value area low first. Once we do that, up here, flip that, up here. And then maybe if we tap into this, maybe we'll take a look at it again. Start getting the rejection. We'll look at money flow. If it's coming up, we can look for higher lows and higher highs, eventually targeting that POC. There's the full sauce right there. Shout out to Fiat Level. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. He says, Frankie, what computer do you use for trading? I just have a custom PC with a bunch of screens. Not like crazy screens. I just got a 24-inch here. I got a vertical 24-inch here for the chat. And then I got a ultra-wide. I don't know how many inches. A very, it's big. It's, I'd say, larger than average. Then I got a super ultra-wide in the middle for the charts. Which I have to stream in 1080p. So I can't even use this on stream in ultra-wide because it just doesn't work with the aspect ratio. So I'm literally, I have my ultra-wide and it's just cropped 1080 right now. But anyway. Tether dominance. Yeah, we could try to take a look at. Let's see here. Oh, interesting. Well, I don't really look at tether dominance that often. But there's the POC value area low. Literally, we haven't looked at this in a while. When was this? November. Perfect rejection. Literally from the POC. Let's check that weekly. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If I had this weekly money flow coming out, I just look at this just like a price chart, right? If I had this money flow crossing into the red, right, I could look for a potential another drop down to these range lows, which honestly is a absolutely beautiful volume profile. Never mind, not beautiful. Oh, wait, hang on. Yeah, not really that beautiful. Man, that's kind of crazy. I fired a little early on that. I mean, it's still valid, but you get these like huge deviations. So never mind. Either way, it's still just a general range. I would probably be looking for a rotation back down here to these lows. But what do I have? I have money flow in the green, right? What does that indicate to me? That indicates to me on anything, whether I'm looking at a price chart, a dominance chart, anything. Market cap, stocks, Forex, doesn't matter. If I have this weekly money flow coming into the green, I am probably expecting higher lows and higher highs to come. So you're rejecting key resistance. Daily money flow is coming into the red. So again, you can get a little trend to the down, which makes sense, right? Like daily money flow coming in the red, Solana, Bitcoin, daily money flow crossovers into the green. That would make sense. This is why I don't really pay that much attention here, because it's like almost every time it's like just inversely sentiment. It's inverse sentiment wise to Bitcoin and the rest of the charts. So, I mean, I'll just say it, right? Money flow crossing into the red could get the continuation down for a higher low and a higher high. Very similarly, on Bitcoin, money flow crossing green with the high time frame money flow coming out on the weekly for a potential lower high and lower low. So I don't really check this a lot, to be honest. But that's what I would look at, right? We saw this key level. One thing I can say is if you do get a higher low and an eventual higher high, flipping that point of control could open up the door to get up into this value area high. So here's your upper value area on dominance. And it is a little bit weird on dominance, but they are still obviously valid. Otherwise, these levels would not be respected. So there you go. So, I mean, if I could try to find an area. You just see here real quick. Not beautiful confluence there. Yeah, I would probably watch this value area high here. Let me pull it. Let me check the weekly here real quick. Yeah, so this would be a big level of support, in my opinion. So if that daily trend does continue down, this would be like the next significant level of support. You got the value area high, golden pocket 786. So if you get a little continuation of the trend, bada boom, that's where I would look for the support, right in here. Red wave crosses back into the green, potentially higher low, higher high, which of course, with our money flow in the green on the weekly, could be the case. It's a rare two-headed snake, head and shoulders. Left shoulder, double head, right shoulder. I'm just kidding. But there you go. All right, let's see. Shout out to Great White said, can we have a look at Sol? Yeah, we checked Sol in the beginning of the stream. Is the first altcoin that we looked at, looking bearish at resistance. If you scrub back, go to Solana. It'll be very similar sentiment that we talk about. Coming into the POC, I'll just kind of, right? I wouldn't be surprised, right? We've swept the highs. If we lose the POC, a little bit of a cool off, right? But if we have this money flow coming up, could potentially be a higher low for another higher high to come. Eventually, hopefully, flipping that point of control. So we'll see. I like that daily money flow, if I'm being honest. Shout out to Henry. He said, do you have a video on the channel to show me how to set my charts up exactly like yours? Shout out to Henry. Welcome to the CandleMafia, my friend. Go to the beginner series and watch through that entire playlist, and not only will you know how to set your charts up exactly like mine, but you'll know exactly how I trade. So check it out. Shout out to Jesse sharing the playlist for the beginner series. Yeah, check that out, brother. It'll teach you from A to Z what we look for, and we also have tons of other tutorials on the channel that you can look for. We just try to compile a little bit of a beginner's kind of like playlist, or kind of like a beginner trading course. Shout out to Omar. Thank you for the super chat. Said, can we take a look at Jasmine? Well, he really just said Jasmine TA. Yeah, we can take a look at Jasmine. Quick reminder, guys, please do not send super chats for your altcoins. Does not guarantee that we will look at them, but we do have a free second here, so we will take a look. And we have not looked at Jasmine in quite some time. That's just to give you context. This is an old level that we looked at, pulled from the low to the high. That's where you look for the bounce. You get the bounce, back up. You lose it. Invalidation. You're looking to break this low, right? I talk about this every time we pull a fib. Once you lose that 786, higher low is invalidated. You look to break structure to the downside. We held it, and you didn't even put the higher low, the higher high in, right? But you hold it. You have your nice bullish divergences into the key level. Get the bounce back in to the POC, and then still, once you get down here, once you break that 786, you're looking to crack structure to the downside. And obviously, we had the October 10th wick, which nukes you through everything. But it's so funny how you can see where price settles. Right near that low. But anyway, that's old news. Let's take that off the chart. So I would still say, I mean, we could technically, yeah, I would still keep this profile back here. That daily is still technically valid, so I don't know when we're going to come up there, but I'll leave it. And let's take a look here. So the only other real profile that I can pull is pretty much here. It's not super clean, but here is your lower value area. Tried to hold it, broke in, fake out, back to the upside. Daily money flow continuing into the green, or continuing up, hopefully going to cross into the green. Pull our fib here. So you had your golden pocket there. That is what you're bouncing off of. And now we can pull this fib, which is beautiful because it is confluent with our value area high. So this is the lowest I would like to see Jasmine go. Maybe we hit the 786. You still got to get back above that value area high. That would still give you a technical higher low. Once you lose that 786, which, by the way, sits at about 0.00626, once you lose that, higher lows invalidated. I'm looking to break structure to the downside. You're accepted back into your volume profile, and I'm probably looking to fill the rest of that wick down in to the POC value area low between 0.00389 and 338. If you get the higher low to come in, which, of course, with this if this daily money flow continues into the green, can be the anticipation, higher low, higher high. I would say the biggest level to the upside is going to be about 0.01487, value area low of the previous range. That's your biggest level, in my opinion. Let's pull our fib. Let's pull it from here. Okay, so you have your, bear with me while I mark off these levels. So you have the 786 confluence there. So again, just adding to the validity of that level. And then I bet you if I pull this volume profile here, we have confluence maybe on the value area low, golden pocket. Let's see. There it is. So here's your key levels. And the PLC of that range also right on that value area low. Right, so I can even take this off the chart now that I know that confluence is there. These are the next major levels to the upside. Whether you come up there now or you have to come down for a higher low first and then get up there, golden pocket, 0.0112, 0.01112, up to 0.01193. Once you're able to get above that golden pocket, very likely to go into the 786, which sits confluent with the value area high and the POC of that local range that we pulled, sitting right here between 0.01407 and 1522. Really hard to say those like super low numbers. But there you go. On a silver platter. That's what I'd be looking at. And again, with the daily money flow coming up, could be, base case could be higher lows and higher highs. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but you also have the invalidation, right? If we come out there and this money flow starts nuking into the red again and we lose that 786, guess what? Look at a crack structure to the downside and head through the rest of this profile. So there you go. All the sauce on Jasmine. Shout out to John Newton, said the beginner series is fire. Shout out to John Newton. A lot of people charge for that playlist right there. But we give it for free, baby. We give it for free. Yeah, can we get some price action now finally? Yeah, no more Ghost Town, hopefully. Yeah, I'm hoping not. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin here. Just, yeah, literally sitting here. Guys, I was literally going to go live at like 9:30 this morning because I thought my internet was going to be fine. And I get that text message. No internet. And that's when I called Pooja. And Pooja helped me out. Shout out to Pooja. Hey, shout out to Mountain Magnus. Said, Frankie, how was your day? Grateful to be here. Shout out to Mountain Magnus. My day was good, all things considered, right? Internet problems, obviously a nightmare. Honestly, the big problem there is I just know it's not going to work tomorrow, which is really frustrating. So if I can't go live tomorrow, guys, I will drop another update. I just can't go live. I tried to go live, and we figured this out on the premium Discord. I went to go live for the premium live stream, and it just wasn't working. And I just kept dropping out, and it just then I looked at my phone. They're like, we're doing maintenance. No warning whatsoever. And then I called them that day, and I was like, are you going to be done with this anytime soon? And they were like, yeah, we'll be done today. And then it was like, we're actually, unfortunately, going to have to come back tomorrow. And then they're like, it's all fixed. Unfortunately, we're coming back the next day. And now today it happened again. So hopefully they fix it early in the morning, and I could go live during the day. But I'm just going to expect that my internet's going to be completely cooked. So expect a market update tomorrow. If I can go live, you'll see me pop up, and it'll be a celebration. Love from India. Shout out to Rahul. Shout out to Pooja. She was from India, too. She was telling me to get butter chicken pizza, which I didn't know was a thing until someone here said it. Shout out to Tactical Pew Pew, said war breaks out tonight. Does it change your thought? That would, I mean, no. It wouldn't really change my, well, it would invalidate, right? So let me actually leave you guys with this. When we talk about the higher time frames and my overall thought process, are you talking about like, was there news that I missed? Again? If there, really, Willie's Jeep. Interesting. Oh, no. Did we just freeze? Can you guys hear me? Are we live? Are we gone? Okay, we're good. I think I just froze for a second. What happened? Did we, oh, yeah, are we cooked right? Let me see something here. Come on. Wow, it's taking forever. Assuming you mean like actual war? Bit laggy, yeah. Okay, we're back. I hear you. Okay, yeah, we're good. Frozen candles. Okay, we're back. Yeah, they might be rugging me on the internet right now, guys. Hopefully if I drop out, See you guys tomorrow. But if you're talking about like real war, no, it wouldn't really change my thought process too much. In that case, if that wound up being like some kind of black swan, I would just expect that it would just be like when we asked the question of, will the lower high come in on the local Golden Pocket 786 retracement or the upper Golden Pocket 786 retracements if we got a black swan event tonight? As a matter of fact, it would just be kind of like right on time. Again, I'm not going to try to predict whether, what the actual event might be if we're going to get a black swan or some kind of news event to give us that last, I don't want to say last, but that next big capitulation to the downside, right? The charts are potentially pointing towards this, or the charts on the higher time frames, not the lower time frames. Lower time frames, daily money flow coming up looks okay. Higher time frames is pointing towards another potential big drop coming in. And we talked a lot about how there's like really nothing keeping people bearish here, right? Like there's no bearish news. And we compared it to 2021, talking about how everybody was super optimistic here. Oh my God, 100K, 100K. And sure enough, right, the charts ended up being right for a lower high and a lower low. There was no news here making people bearish until I think Luna was the first thing to happen. We get the Luna collapse. And then they're like, all right, fine, now we're entering a bear market, right? So, I'm not going to try to predict what a black, maybe a black swan doesn't come in. I don't know. But I'm not going to try to predict exactly what it's going to be. But if it was something like that, and it happened if it got announced tonight, well, then we would probably say high probability of lower high, lower low. So it would be just kind of right on time. Obviously the daily would fake out, but the overall longer term thought process would wind up coming true. Just refresh the stream, guys. Apparently my audio went down for a second. I'm surprised I've gone this far without any kind of internet glitch. I'm surprised they're even letting me talk. Shout out to Tiny Lens. Said, Frankie, would you get in line at a busy coffee shop and order your favorite drink, I don't know why I said coffee drink, while wearing just a banana hammock for 100,000 Satoshis? Shout out to Tiny Lens. Is that against the law? If it's not against the law, do that for free. Show off the calves. I thought you were going to say a banana suit, and I was like, that's easy. Banana hammock, I do it for free. I'll pay somebody to do it. I'm just kidding. I went 100x long on the Iran. That's crazy. Shout out to independent crypto. Wild. War equals bearish Delta team. Rainbow Six style takeovers equals bullish. Probably not. But I guess anything is possible. ICP, Jasmine, Anchor, they were great buys last week. What's ICP doing? I'm not going to do full analysis. I just want to check it out. Let's see. Yeah. Take that 50-week off. There you go. Nice little pop ski. 52%. Not too shabby. Now, of course, again, I always say, like, zoom out to get perspective. A lot of people, they'll be like, is this bullish? Yes, it's a pump, right? It's a 52% pump. How could that not be bullish, right? It doesn't necessarily indicate, like, it's about to go to all-time highs. Obviously, still opportunity for lower highs and lower lows to come in. Not only there, but look at that. Into your Golden Pocket 786. So actually, I'll just give you a little bit of sauce here on ICP. Again, I'm not going to go fully into it. Pulling into your first significant retracement level between 444 and 506. So if you could hold that, if you could flip that Golden Pocket, I would expect 510 next. And then if you could flip that, I would just pull this all the way to the current high, sitting between 595 and 734. Until you crack this 786, lower highs and lower lows are still possible. Again, I don't know if it's going to go to zero, right? I don't know if it's going to come back down to like $1. But just to give you those next resistance levels. But yeah, 52% pump. Very nice. Very nice. Yo, shout out to Jenny said, "Oh Lord, now we're gonna have the CandleMafia running around in banana hammocks." Yeah, shout out to Jenny. Hey, no one ever said I don't always already run. You guys don't know what I look like on the lower half of my body. I only got to show my torso here. I wear a banana hammock every day. Check it out. I'm just kidding. All right, let's see. Maybe they're trying to take Frankie's internet down so everybody can't get the sauce. Shout out to Bailey. They're watching us. But a real quick check-in on Bitcoin here. Yeah, just kind of wiggling around. Wiggling around. Let me pull up the context here. Mark off our major zone. Guys, can you believe this level finally got hit? Sound like a broken record talking about this level. So yeah, just if you just tuned in, pushing into major resistance. This is not only major resistance, but also a very important level. If we end up rejecting from this level and actually, yeah, if we wind up rejecting from here, I'm short here, right? I am in a scalp short. Let me see. Do I have this up? I do, right? Kind of somewhat at break even, up to 87. Not really a, yeah, right. I think my entry is like somewhere up here. So I am scalp short, right? We waited for this level for a long time. I got to take shots, right? I got to take shots up here. And again, it wasn't for no reason. You got the bearish divergences printing. Higher highs, lower highs. That's the 45-minute. You got the 80-minute. Now, I'm not saying, like, this is not a signal. This is not the time. Like, I'm not saying that this is the best time to enter the trade, but we had the bearish divergences printing, right? Lower highs, higher highs. 1 hour, lower highs, higher highs. You even had a little local bearish divergence here on the 1 hour. You also had the 30-minute bearish divergences up here. That is enough for me to take a shot at that short, right? We hit the key level. I see the confirmations. I take a shot. If we end up, I have a little bit of breathing room above $98,000. If we do end up getting above 98,000, flipping it to support, that idea will be invalidated. I will accept that I am wrong there, and I will stop out for a small loss, and the long will continue to pay us out, right? I am hedged on the long. I have the short open, so I'm comfortable taking a little bit of a shot there, right? If I get stopped out of here, I'm not going to get wrecked. I'm not going to lose my account or anything like that. It's already up to 287, which, again, is not far away from my entry, but I'm happy to take a shot here. I'm happy to get stopped out a couple times here because I've been waiting for this level forever. We also have 30-minute money flow attempting to come out. 8-hour red dot looking to print, right? So you get that. Somebody in chat asked if there are any 116 strategies potentially setting up. If we print this 8-hour red dot and this 30-minute money flow continues out, it could even shift down to the 24-minute money flow crossing into the red. So if we print that 8-hour red dot and we see these lower time frame money flow crossovers, could indicate a little bit of a continuation, right? What I would love is a loss of the POC of about 96,300. If we can lose that, we could get a bit more of a continuation. Again, I covered all the local levels earlier in the stream, so I'm not going to go over them again. Just scrub back to the beginning of the stream to get them. But we'll see what happens, right? And I will be treating this as a local scalp until proven otherwise. Because, again, you know, it is a golden pocket. This is technically the first area. And you know, money flow is coming up, so it's not going to be the base case, right? Like, I am going to be taking profits along the way because we can put the higher lows and the higher highs in. Now, I'll just give a little bit of a sneak preview here. About $92,000 will be a significant next level of support if we do lose the POC. Could be a healthy pullback for a higher low and a higher high. This money flow continues up. That could be good, right? But who knows, right? It is a golden pocket, which is the first golden pocket to look for potential lower highs. So the way I look at that is this is a short. I'm going to treat it as a day trade until proven otherwise, meaning it has the potential to turn into a swing short. I'm not looking at it. Well, I have some other shorts on other accounts that I'm starting to build. I took entries as we pushed in here. I took some entries as we push up. I just add to those positions. Invalidation is very similar, right? Flip $98,000. I got a little breathing room up there. Flip that $98,000 level. It's invalidated. I'm probably looking for the continuation. But even if I wasn't in the swing shorts as well, we just look at it as a short-term trade with the possibility of it turning into a swing trade. And the reason it has the opportunity to turn into a swing trade is because it's a golden pocket retracement. It's because the weekly money flow is coming into the red. If that daily money flow fakes out back into the red, this could be the area you reject from. Now, my base case is probably the trend will locally continue up for a higher low and a higher high to come, as I just explained, right? But if we get down here and that money flows over, if we start dumping and this money flow on the daily just starts cracking back into the red, it looks like a fake out. That's where I say to myself, hey, that short might have turned out to be a massive swing trade, right? Because if this winds up being a lower high, the lower low there would be down here, right? And then, hey, if we get that big capitulation, could be saucy. But until then, right, I will treat the scalp as a scalp, and I have other trades open, but just in general, a lot of times you could turn a day trade. You have to have that context, right? I could be super bullish here on like a 4-hour, right, or a daily, and still catch that little move to the downside, right? If we get down to the level I'm looking at on the 4-hour or the daily, in this case the daily, and it looks really good for a continuation up, well, maybe I'll close the trade, right? Maybe I'll take more profits, move my stop loss to break even, and let it stop out and profit, right? Or if it looks like trash, if the money flow is just yoinking back down into the red, I could say, hey, I'm going to hold a portion of this because this is probably going to turn into the bigger swing trade. It's all about context. So we'll see what happens. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Push us down. Push us down. Let's go. Up 356. Give us a dump. Low volume gap above as well. Shout out to Bailey. Let me take a look at that. Frankie Candle's printed banana hammock, of course. Of course. Got to have the logo on there with the leather patches on it. It's going to be nice. Just 2 leather patches in the front. Anyway. BTC going to dump hard. Come on, Rudy. Send it down for us. Send it down. Okay, so low volume gap. Let me take a look here. We'll take a look at the VPVR. Yeah, so as you guys know, right, let me clean this up real quick. Where is our... Bear with me here. So we looked at this a while back, right? I have a bunch of macro profiles I'm looking at here. They're all valid, but 93, about 92.3, right? This is a big level. We hit our head, couldn't get in. We finally get in. This was accompanied by the low volume gap, which is pretty clear, right? Like, and above us as well, right? Fast move up through the fast move down through the low volume gap. If we flip 98K, this is why I say if you flip this level, this is why I'm like happy if this invalidates, I'm happy to take the loss and have the long continue to play out. This low volume gap, we flip 98,000 to support, we start pushing, this low volume gap could fill very quickly. Anytime you see these low volume gaps or even just fast moves down on the chart, usually these fast moves down or fast moves up are accompanied by low volume gaps. So even from this high volume node, or I should say this high volume node, up into the POC, pretty big gap. And to be honest, right, like pretty big gap all the way into the 786 at about 101K. Again, doesn't mean you can't catch some money here on the way down for a little cool off. But what happens, right? You break above the high volume node, and finally you get the fast move to the upside, stopping off at the POC. Known resistance, not impossible to get the cool off. Once you flip that golden pocket POC, another very nice low volume gap. Could be a fast move up towards the 786 / anchored VWAP / value area high / 50-week moving average, the exact levels we looked at in the beginning of the stream. There it is, right? So yes, you do have a little bit of a low volume gap above. Got to flip that POC golden pocket to get through it, but it is there. Fast move down, could be fast move up. Doesn't mean that you can't cool off first, but still stands true. Right? Low volume. And also, if you zoom out and incorporate the rest of this volume, right, massive, let me take this off the chart so it's nice and clean. Massive high volume node, right? This is the POC of the macro range, which makes sense because the POC is the highest volume node within the profile, and the macro POC, where's it at? is pulled throughout all this price action. The highest volume node is here. That's why the POC is there. That's why it's a major target. Low volume, shoot here, flip this, another big low volume gap up into here. And honestly, that rides up to about 105K. So nice, clean, easy way to look at price. Low volume here, big resistance. Price likes to cling here, reject here, flip it to support, or hold it as support, or hold it as resistance. Massive wall. Could reject. Get above it, nothing there. Big move up, and oftentimes, price will seek the next high volume node. Whoops. Right? Look at the fast move down. Look at the fast move up. Starting to cling here. Flip this, fast move up. And it's probably, obviously, at the 50-week moving average there, but really 105K is this massive high volume node. So typically it's like, get up here, right there, boom. Right here. Breakout, boom. Where do you stop off here? Draw the level. Right there on that high volume node. Oh, another fast move up. Where's that fast move up? Right through that low volume gap. Right there. So absolutely, whoever said that. I didn't see who said it, but yes, you have that low volume gap there, but you do have this POC major resistance. And you could even argue, or not argue, but you could even look at this as, like it's that same level that we looked at as the key support around like 92K, right? Like you really kind of want to hold on to that. So we'll see what happens. Little volume, little visible range volume profile saws for you. Come on, baby. Push it down. Push it down. Write down your notes, Mafia. Shout out to Jesse. Let's go. I appreciate you for being here, brother, and holding down the good explanation of BTC. Shout out to Martin, of course, brother. But yeah, guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for today's live stream. Sorry for the missed live streams this week, guys. Absolutely brutal. Once this internet stuff, I might have to call Pooja back up. She was so hard to be mean to. I wasn't being mean to her, but like I was pissed. And she was just like, calm down. You're good, bro. I'm going to help you out. I got your back. And she gave me a huge discount. But she did lie to me. She said my service will be back in full by today. No more maintenance. And they're coming back tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to try to go live tomorrow if I can. If not, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications so you can not miss the market update. And shout out to anybody who watched the last ones because they were pretty dang spot on. And then, if I can, I'm going to try to stream earlier tomorrow during the day. But thank you all for being here. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Shout out to Independent Crypto. Shout out to Bailey. Shout out to Solomon. Shout out to Henny. I think I called him Henry before. Shout out to Henny. Shout out to Rudy. Shout out to Nicholas. Shout out to Louisa, Jenny, Tiny Lens, John, and last but not least, Big Huggies. That's all I got, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Somebody call up the internet company and protest with me. That's all I got. Asta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
account information.
Just turn my internet back on. Dang it. I gotta go, guys. I'm calling Pooja. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top